Hi guys, how are you guys? कैसे हैं आप लोग? Hope you're all doing well. Now, today this is the first lecture that I'm taking on time speed distance, and I'll try to cover all the topics as much as possible and try to take as many examples as possible. And I hope this reaches to anyone who's studying, preparing for CAT or IPMAT, uh, or any other entrance exam. Could be GRE, GMAT. For starters, this would provide you a good insight into what the chapter is all about. So, chalo, let's begin. I'll share my screen and let's start. Okay. Chalo. So, I hope it's clearly visible. Yeah. So, ये टॉपिक सबने हम सबने पढ़ा होगा इन आवर स्कूल्स और इन स्कूल्स इन प्रॉब्ली क्लास 7 और क्लास 10 और 8th में and probably in class 11 for advanced like those the people who have taken physics chemistry math उन्होंने kinematics projectile motion वगैरह उसमें पढ़ा होगा. This that's a bit advanced, so we'll not go into that. But here, as a part of arithmetics, so we'll study this. Now, first of all, let's understand what this speed is. What is speed? Mathematically speaking, speed is nothing but distance by time. ठीक है. Now, if I say कि a motorbike is traveling at a speed of, let's say, 60 kilometer per hour. So if I draw the trajectory of the rider, let's say वो the person leaves his or her home at, let's say, 9 a.m. Now when I say that this person is traveling at a speed of 60 kilometer per hour, so after an hour, let's say from here 1 hour later is 10 a.m. Let's say 10 a.m. This person would be 60 kilometers distant from the starting point. This is the starting. So he would be here after 1 hour, which is at 10 a.m. This distance that the rider has traveled is 60 kilometers. This is what speed means. When I say 60 kilometer per hour, it means that in a span of 1 hour, the person travels 60 kilometers. Okay. Now, if I say, tell me how much distance would the person would have traveled in by 9:30. So 9:30, what does that mean? Means if this person travels 60 kilometers in 1 hour, in half an hour, it will travel just half a distance. So this will be 30 minutes, 30 kilometers, sorry. And to make this even more understanding how to, the working and calculation part, you can easily imagine that the speed is 60 kilometer per hour. So I can write this as 60 kilometer per 60 minutes also. In 1 minute, the person travels 1 kilometer. So using that analogy, if I say by 9:15, how far would the person would have been? 9:15 is here, somewhere here. So from 9 to 9:15, it's 15 minutes, and in 15 minutes, it will travel 15 into 1, 15 kilometers. This is 15 kilometers, and this is also uh, this entire is 30, so this is also 15 kilometers. So essentially, what I'm trying to emphasize here is what speed essentially is. It's a kind of rate of doing some work. Now here, the work is the distance that is to be traveled, and you have some time given. So the work, that is the distance traveled per unit time, is the speed. As simple as that. Now, for the uninitiated or very novice and learner, Let's take up some simple examples to illustrate the how this concept works. Let's say if uh, A is traveling at a speed of 45 kilometer per hour, how much will he travel in 2 hours? Now let's say it's a very simplistic question, but again very helpful in understanding the formula and how it applies. So how do we find out the distance traveled in 2 hours? So by using the formula, speed is equals to distance by time. As simple as that. Now, what is given to us? This is speed is given to us. Speed is given to be 45, and distance is, let's say, d, and time we have 2 hours. So here we write 2 hours, and distance we get, this goes here, cross multiply. You get distance equals to 45 into 2, which is 90 kilometers. So if I draw it in a graph using a simple diagram, I can write this as, show this as, let's say the person started from this point, which is, let's say A started from this point, traveling at a speed of 45 kilometer per hour. So let's say for example, he starts at 9 a.m. Okay. So at after 1 hour, which is at 10 a.m. So speed is what? Speed 45 kilometer per hour. So every hour the person travels 45 kilometers. So in 1 hour, after 1 hour, the person will be in 45 kilometer far away from this starting point. So this is 45. This is 45 kilometers. Okay. By 10 a.m., it is the person is this much far. Now from here again, after 1 hour, which is this is 1 hour, 9 to 10, 10 to 11 is another hour. So again, by 11 a.m., the person would have traveled another 45 kilometers. So from the starting point, if we say the person has traveled 45 plus 45, which is total distance traveled is 90. So this is the thing. Okay, I hope this makes brings in more clarity. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say B travels at a certain speed and covers, let's say, 100 kilometer in 4 hours. What is his speed? Okay. Now this is the question that's what's given to us is that the distance traveled by the person is given, and the time taken by the person to cover that distance is also given. So you again using the formula, speed is equals to distance by time, इसको use करें. So this we have to find out. We are given this, we are given this. So by putting in the values, we see 100 kilometers by 4 hours. So we get 25 kilometer per hour. Okay. So this is the speed at which this person is traveling. Now to represent it using the small diagram, using a small diagram, let's say the person covered, what the person would have actually done is Let's say the we left at 9 a.m. and I'm using this 9 a.m. frequently, but that's okay as long as it makes the concept clear. So after 4 hours, so 4 hours from 9 is what? 9, 9 to 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 means 1 a.m. So I'll write it as 1 p.m. Sorry, 1 p.m. So the distance covered traveled is 100 kilometers. And in such questions, it is assumed that the person is traveling at the same speed of 25 kilometers per hour. Means it's not fluctuating. So at every point, at every instant, the speed is the same, 25 kilometers per hour. Okay. So the person would have traveled 25 the whole distance in four parts, equal parts. Although it's diagrammatically it's not seeming to be equal, but pardon my drawing, but it is the same part. All these are equal. So by 9 from 9 to 10 a.m. he would have traveled 25 kilometers. Then 10 to 11 a.m. again 25, and from here to 12 p.m. sorry 25 kilometers, and from here to here again 25 kilometers. Okay. The total 25 plus 25 plus 25 plus 25, 25 into 4 is 100 kilometers and 4 hours of time. This is the, you can see this, the difference is 4 hours. Okay. This is how it works out. And it's a request whenever you guys travel, whenever you, not travel, sorry, solve questions from this chapter, always make it a habit कि आप एक, you draw it, take a small diagram, use a small diagram, draw it out, draw the situation out. This brings more clarity to yourself also while solving the questions. When you put in the facts, you can easily think, means clarity of thought also. Okay. Again, visual representation always helps in imagination. Okay. Again, let's take another example. Let's say C travels at a speed of 30 kilometer per hour and covers 120 kilometers. Find the time taken by him to cover the distance. Okay. So in this question, again, using the formula, speed is equals to distance by time. Here, what is given to us is distance that the person travels, C travels is given 120 kilometers, and time taken by the person is not. We have to find it out. Speed is given. So putting in the values, what this gives us is 30 kilometer per hour is equals to 120 by, let's say, time is t. So what happens? How do we solve this? This goes here. So 30 into t is equals to 120. And then we bring 30 here below in the denominator. So t is equals to 120 by 30, which is equals to 4 hours. Okay. I hope the concept is clear. If not, just rewind the video. It's very basic. Apply the formula, you'll get it. And try to solve the questions on your own also. That will also help. Another point that I would want to emphasize here is the units. Okay. From the perspective of the units also, we'll try to understand the formula and a couple of more points. So I'll take the new page and write a heading. It's not a heading or a concept, but again, a perspective. So the speed के units क्या होते हैं? The units of speed is, which we have seen here up till now is एक तो kilometer per hour, or you must have also seen meter per second. These are the most commonly used, and from the exam perspective, these would be the units we most probably see in the questions also. So let's understand from the formula also. Speed का formula क्या है? Speed is distance by time. Distance का unit क्या है? Distance का unit है either kilometer or for that matter meter. Let's understand, एक इस चीज को समझते हैं पहले, किलोमीटर पर आवर को. Let's say किलोमीटर है, and time accordingly hour है. तो अगर इसको यूनिट्स को देखा जाए तो स्पीड इज व्हाट, किलोमीटर पर आवर, इसका यूनिट होना चाहिए किलोमीटर पर आवर, एंड हेंस दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. सिमिलरली मीटर पर सेकंड को भी आप समझ सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो इसको इस तरह से भी देखा जा सकता है. ठीक है, स्पीड का ऐसा यूनिट क्यों है, एंड दिस गिव्स यू आल्सो अंडरस्टैंडिंग की स्पीड है क्या एक्चुअली में 60 किलोमीटर इन 1 आवर, 60 किलोमीटर पर आवर, दैट इज द स्पीड. ठीक है, so that is the thing. And इस चीज का और एक, और the second point which what I wanted to emphasize is कि the mistake that students do uh, often do is कि they do not sometimes follow the consistency of the units. मतलब when you are taking kilometer, take time as hour. Okay, because in the, if the question is given is talking about speed in terms of kilometer per hour, so make sure the distance is in kilometer and time is in hour. ठीक है, डोंट टेक कि डिस्टेंस इज इन मीटर्स एंड दिस इज इन आवर्स, या वाइस वर्सा, या सॉरी वाइस वर्सा नहीं, और किलोमीटर पर सेकंड. नो, इन दिस केस इट डजंट वर्क. Consistency of the units is very important. Another point on this note is कि what sometimes students do is kilometer per hour plus meter per second. It cannot happen. You can only add things which have the same units. Similarly, on that note, you cannot add kilometer plus hour. This is also not, it doesn't work. I know it's too early. ये example आपने देखा नहीं कि कहाँ ऐसा होता होगा, but sometimes it happens. I'm just putting up upfront key. This you can only add things which have the same units. Okay, consistency of the units has to be throughout and out in the equation. So the left hand side of an equation should have the same units as right hand side. Okay, so this is very important. Now, since we are talking about the units, let's see what is the relationship between meter per second and kilometer per hour. Let's look at that also. Now, अगर मेरे को इस किलोमीटर पर आवर को मीटर पर सेकंड में कन्वर्ट करना है, so very easy, simple. This thing can be written as kilometer per hour, 1 किलोमीटर और 1 आवर. ठीक है, और 1 किलोमीटर को आप कन्वर्ट कीजिए इनटू मीटर. 1 किलोमीटर इज इक्वल्स टू 1000 meters, and how many seconds in 1 hour? So 1 hour has how many minutes? 60 minutes. So this is 60 minutes. And for each of the 60 minutes, each minute has 60 seconds. 60 seconds. So if you reduce it, you'll get 5 by 18 meter per second. This is a conversion also. You can use it. So how to use it? For example, in some question you have, it is mentioned that let's say speed is 36 kilometer per hour. This is given, and but the entire the output that the question is asking, and most of the units in the question are in, and the answer is also expected to be in meter per second, suppose, hypothetically. So you obviously will have to convert this into meter per second. So what you need to do is, this is the speed, convert into meter per second. What you do is 36 into 5 by 18 meter per second. So reduce it. So it is 10 meter per second. So this you can apply, use it directly also. Or if someone thinks, you know, I don't want to use the formula and I want to just speak it actually works. So that's also fine. Convert it. What is this? 36 kilometers. 36 kilometers means 36,000 meters upon how many seconds? 60 into 60, 3600 seconds. So cancel it out. Again, same 10 meter per second. Okay. So either way, you can use it. Both are the same. And the this conversion trick works. Okay. So that was the point of this part. Now let's move to the type of questions that we generally get from this chapter. So you can search across all any notes or any question book or anywhere on YouTube also. The past questions in CAT or in IPMAT, most of them either come from either of the two categories. Some way or the other, they fall in these two categories. The first one is called distance constant. I'll explain what this means. And the second is constant, or I would say fixed. Second one is time fixed. Same. I would not say time constant. The time cannot remain constant. So again, so it's better you use fixed or same. Now, what this means, we'll discuss in detail. Now, first, let's consider the first category. It is distance constant. Okay. Let's take an example to understand this. Suppose this is my home. Okay. This is my home. Now, every day, what I do is I go from here to my office. Now, home is fixed at this point. Home doesn't move. And office is also fixed at this point. Office doesn't move. So since these 2 points are fixed, so the distance between my home and my office is also fixed. Okay, that doesn't change. So let's say this distance is, for example, D, and let's say it is uh, 10 kilometers. Okay, for the time being, let's say 10 kilometers. Now, see, this when I go from home to office, I cover a distance of 10 kilometers, and when I come back, I cover the same distance. Like office to home is also 10 kilometers. Now, what we are seeing over here is, see, I can write D is equals to 10 kilometers. Let's say I travel while going, I travel at speed S1, and let's say when I travel at S1 and cover 10 kilometers, I take T1 time. ठीक है, मुझे T1 टाइम लगता है. क्या वैल्यू है, वी आर नॉट मच इंटरेस्टेड इन T1 की वैल्यू क्या है, S1 की वैल्यू क्या है, वो विल डिस्कस इट लेटर, बट फॉर टाइम बीइंग जस्ट बेयर विद मी. ठीक है. So I can write this in this way also. Distance is what? Speed into time. ये फॉर्मूले से आया. We had written it D equals to S equals to D by distance by time. You can check it out. We have discussed it above also. So this goes here and it becomes speed into time equals to distance. ठीक है, ये हो गया. Now, while coming back from office to home, if I travel at a speed of, let's say, S2 and travel at time and I take time T2, then again I can also write D equals to 10 kilometers equals to S2 into T2. It also makes sense. Distance covered is 10 kilometers and time taken is T2. So it should be the same. So what I can, since these two things are same, I can equate them. So what it becomes is S1 into T1 equals to S2 into T2. This is equals to D. So this is the very important relation in such kind of scenarios where distance is constant or fixed. Here the distance is constant or fixed, I can say, because Again, home to office and office to home. Both is the positions of homes and office, home and my office are same. The distance is constant, and in that case, we can apply this relation. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. Now, how do we use this? So let's take up an example using this only. I mean, distance equals 10. In this particular example, let's put in some numbers. So let's say A part I put. I can say in my onward journey, let's say home to office, I travel at, let's say, uh, 10 km per hour. Okay. If I take 2 hours in my return journey, what is my speed of the return journey? Okay. Now, how do we do this? So, again, since the distance is constant, using the above relation, so home to office and office to home, the distance is fixed. So, we can use the relation, this one, S1 into T1 equals to S2 into T2. So, here, speed is 10 km per hour while going. So, while going from home to office, the speed is 10 km per hour. Now, how do we find out the time? Using the formula. So speed is what? Distance by time. This is given 10 km per hour. This is 10. Distance is 10. Just a second. Let me just clear this. And time we have to find out. So this becomes time becomes 1 hour. So yeah, 10 into 1. And here we don't know the speed of the return journey that we have to find out. But we know the time for the return journey, that is 2 hours. So I will keep this S2 as S2 and this is 2 hours. Now you can find out. See, using the simple rules of algebra, what will happen? This 2 will go under the denominator. So 10 into 1 by 2 is equals to S2, which is 5 km per hour. So this is how you can use this concept and solve the question. This is one of the applications of this concept. Further, how else we can see is, let's say, on a particular day, again, I am keeping the basic data same. It is the distance between my office and home is 10 kilometers. Using that previous example only, and we'll just take different cases under the same scenarios. Okay. Let's say one day I observe that uh, uh, I usually take 2 hours to reach office from home. Okay. On a particular day, sorry, I took 4 hours. What was my speed on that day? So this is the question and scenario, and what is given to us again. Since the same concept we will apply, So question is saying, I am again making it more clear if it's not. See, I'll take you to the diagram. So on a particular day, I observe that when I every day when I travel, I usually cover this whole distance from home to office in 2 hours. Okay. But on a particular day, I observed that I took 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours. You can easily find it out. Uh, uh, Fine. Anyways, this question is a bit. It's very obvious. You don't need to apply this concept to get the answer because the distance is known. Let's say, for example, in this case, I don't know the distance. Okay. So let's say distance is take distance is d. Distance is d, and again I'm framing the question on my own on spot, so that's why this gets a bit tricky. But just bear with me. I usually take 2 hours to reach office from home. On a particular day, I took 4 hours. So what was I'll rephrase this part. What is the ratio of the speeds on usual day and that particular day? Let's make it this way. Particular day. Make- So the now the question is ki on a particular day, I observed that I take 2 hours to complete the entire journey from my home to office, and on that particular and and at some other day on that particular day I took 4 hours. So usually I take 2 hours. On that particular day I took 4 hours. Now the question is asking कि मेरी जो यूजुअल स्पीड है ऑन अ डेली, यूजुअल स्पीड का मतलब कि द स्पीड एट विच आई ट्रेवल ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, नॉट दैट एनी पर्टिकुलर केस स्पेसिफिक डे, any day. The speed on the usual speed and the speed on that particular day when I took 4 hours. Okay. So again, since again we can apply the concept. So let's say this is my home and this is office. So my let my usual speed be S1. Okay. And the special on that particular day, let the speed be S2. Okay. So what I can write over here is distance is constant. So I can say S1 into time taken on the usual day is 2 hours. Okay. Distance is same. So I can use this relation, and S2. And so time on that particular day, the time taken by me is 4 hours. So S1, this we get this relation. If we rearrange it, S1 by S2 is 4 by 2, which is 2. And that is what the question is asked, the ratio of the speeds on usual day and that particular day. So this is my usual day and this is my particular day. So ratio is 2 by 1 or 2 is to 1. Okay. I hope this is clear. Okay. Now, I'll take this concept to a bit more deeper level, and probably I'll use the concept of ratio and proportion also. Uh, this would, if you are able to get that, fine. Or if not, again, you can use this formula only. But I would suggest you use the concept that I'm trying to tell you, because this will again increase the speed and thinking speed also, thinking power also. Okay. So I will take up another example and I will show it to you. Uh, hmm. Let's say on a particular day, right? I took 1/4 the usual time taken to reach office. Okay. What is my speed on the particular day as a percent of my usual speed? Okay. Now I'll explain this question using solving. I solve this question using two approaches. Okay. First, as it is simple approach, uh, S1 T1 equals to S2 into T2. Since again home and office are fixed, the distance is constant. I can apply this concept. So let the speed, my usual speed be S1. Okay. And the time taken by me, that is the usual time. Let that usual time be T1. And on that particular day, let my speed be S2. And time taken again is given to us 1/4 of the usual time. 1/4 is T1 by 4. Okay. Simplifying the expression, what we get is this T1 gets cancelled out with this. S1 into 4 is equals to S2. So we get S2 equals to 4 S1. Now, so this tells us that on that particular day, my speed was 4 times of my usual speed. Okay. So now we have to find out as a percentage क्या होगा of my usual speed. This speed S. So what we have to find out is S2 by S1, क्योंकि S2 as a percent of S1 बोला है, मतलब कि speed on particular day as a percentage of my usual speed. So as a percentage मतलब S1 से comparison हो रहा है. Comparison is being done by S1. So it is in the denominator into 100. So here we get what we get is putting in the values 4 S1 upon S1 into 100. Now cancelling it out, what we get is 400%. Okay, this is what we get. This is the answer. But if we think it in different direction, different perform it, look at it from different perspective, we can be able to arrive at the conclusion very fast. Let's say S into T is equals to constant. Why is this constant? Because it is a distance. Speed into time is constant. In our case, distance is constant. Speed into time is distance, which is constant. Okay. Now let's say what I'll do is if I increase the speed, make it 2 times, and this is fixed. This part is fixed, and I am making the speed 2 times. What will happen? Since this is fixed, in order to keep the product, the multiplication same constant, this has to go 1/2, so that ये 2 cancel हो जाएगा and you will get the product of these two coefficients or the times जो होता है वो उसका 1 आ जाएगा and the distance will remain same, and it makes practical sense also. आप assume कीजिए ये distance कौन सा 10 kilometers है, ठीक है. If I'm normally I'm traveling at 5 kilometers per hour, I'll take 2 hours to travel travel a distance of 10 kilometers. But on a particular day, what I do is कि I double my speed, which is 10 kilo. I travel at 10 kilometers per hour. So what will be the time taken? 1 hour, half हो गया. Same logic, ठीक है. Now similarly, if I do it speed increase my make my speed triple, so what will happen? This will become one third. Okay. Now if I make this one half, I reduce my speed to half, so time taken will be double. Simple, time will be double. Okay. So using this, we can reduce this. So what is being asked? Ki on a particular day, the time taken by me was one fourth. So if this was one fourth, now in order to keep the distance constant, something has to come here which cancels this fourth, one fourth. So what will happen? Speed becomes four times. So speed has become four times. Again, then this is what we have also got from here. This we got using the formula of cancellation करके आया, and this directly by thinking in this direction using the concept of proportion and variation. ठीक है? So directly we can assume this, we arrive at this conclusion. So speed particular is equals to four times usual speed. ठीक है? So ये तो again after that you do the same thing, so you will get it. ठीक है? So this is one of the ways how you use this concept. Okay, we'll discuss a couple of more questions in the next session. Till then, have a look at the notes and revise them, solve the questions. These are very basic questions. I'll share a sheet of questions also. In fact, we'll solve it together, and I'll share that link also after some time. But in the meantime, revise it. If you have any doubts, please leave it in the comments. Okay. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.